Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon, actually.
Afternoon.
Yeah, right. Tuesday, we typically send these out on Monday, but sorry about that. Brooke and I are both getting ready to start work again, and it's been a little busy for us. So we're here on a Tuesday, but anyway, awesome show, and it's all about energy, in which they all are, but all about energy and different ways that you can request or how you can cope with energy, how you can handle different energies, and in addition, how you can request some of the specifics that we have found, Brooke and I, over the years, that are effective in how you ask for help from spiritual beings from above. So, Brooke, as always, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And yeah, let's get right to it. So, as you know, we discussed before some of the, like, we are here to heal.
Here we go again.
Yeah, right. To heal energy, to heal ourselves. And as we are healing ourselves, we are healing like the lineage that we're involved with. We're healing layers of our family members that we have incarnated with at this lifetime, and affecting change and healing throughout the world just through healing ourselves. And as we were saying, when we were first opening, some of the things that you can do when you are requesting help or looking for help as you heal, or a few things that we've noticed that are pretty consistent in these requests, are being very specific with what you are looking for. So if I have a particular trait that I'm looking to help heal, if I'm looking to the ego mind to be rid more than it currently is, or if I'm looking to overcome fear more, or even specifically if I'm looking to overcome fear in opening up to channel, I'm going to be that specific with those requests. I'm going to ask for any blocks to be cleared in my energy field. I'm going to ask specifically for a chakra to be open or worked on or balanced. So I'm going to be very specific, we are, with what it is we are looking for. And in addition to being specific, as we said before, you want to call in your heavenly support team. You want to build your spiritual support team to incorporate as many ascended masters, as many archangels, as many angels as you possibly can, because they are all going to help. So we have that spiritual support team, and they're doing their job every single day. But the more we call in, the more help that team and ourselves are going to get on a frequent basis. So definitely things to be cognizant of, in addition to being specific, and in addition to calling in specific beings. And you want to name those beings. I think that's helpful. Saying all archangels is helpful, and I say that all the time. All ascendant masters, I always do that. But it definitely does help when you call in specific ones, because the name does amplify the energy a little bit. So if I'm looking to maybe work on letting go of like a particular feeling or a particular person in my life, I'm going to call in Kuan Yin, because I know she helps me with that. Now, you don't have to know exactly who does what, although it is helpful. And last week we worked specifically on the lights,
Yeah.
the light beings, and the ascendant masters and the archangels associated with them. I encourage you to use those. And all of the archangels and ascendant masters, in addition to the lights, are all listed on the podcast and on the other platforms that we're on. So use that list and be specific with the individuals you're working with, and even the lights that you are using to clear, like a pink light or a blue light. Work on calling that specific light in. In addition, and here's something I found very, very interesting, and I've been seeing it now since I've been in this work, and no doubt Brooke has been too, is you want to clear it in all spaces of time, dimensions, layers, and realms. So as we have so clearly, I think, indicated on a number of different levels, each of these dimensions have their own conscious level. And we've discussed that at almost ad nauseum at this point. Each has its own conscious level. Each has its own vibration, its own frequency. And we are healing every aspect of that soul self when we are doing this work, when we are looking to heal these energies and begin to work with the energies. We want to heal it in all spaces and time, all dimensions, all layers, and all realms. And the layers and the realms are basically just a level of like
consciousness.
yeah, yeah. And just reasserting the same thing, you know? But yeah, exactly. So you want to bring those, you want to heal it on all dimensions, times, realities, and layers. And these are now, we say all the time that there's not one way to do anything. You know, we say all the time, any way you do it, your intent is that powerful. All we are saying here is that the more specific you are and the more specificity that you bring to your request and to the idea of healing it in all those different locations, the more impactful it's going to be. Rather than just saying, hey, I call in archangels to heal me, you guys can see right now, like there's a certain level of there's a certain level of amplification that happens when I'm more specific. Not only am I asking for the healing of fear or healing of whatever or letting go, I'm sorry, rather than just saying all archangels help me heal, I am saying, hey, help me heal specifically these archangel Raphael help me heal in the manner of letting go, and with the help of Kuan Yin to help me heal with the idea of letting things go that are not meant for me or my highest and greatest good. Like there's just a certain level of amplification to that energy when we add some more specifics to it.
Yeah, this is a good reminder for me, because I think a lot of us, even though we are aware that there are different layers of us and different aspects of us, and that we exist in multidimensionally, we do tend to forget. Like, I will hyper focus on my higher self sometimes, you know, and then just reading what I read last night reminded me, like, no, you have your middle self, you have your lower self, you have your aspect of you in other realms. Like, you have to work on all of those, send love to all of them, you know. So yeah, I do tend to forget. So that's just a good reminder, is that there's more aspects of us than just this figure of a bag of bones you see here, you know.
You know what? And you know what, Brooke, you've said that to me before too. And man, that just sent chills up my body when you said that to not forget about that. So
Yeah.
that's definitely validation to me how important it is to remember those different
Yeah, because
dimensions.
I'm to blame. Like, I feel like the last year or so, I've been so into my higher self
Mhm.
that I feel like I've neglected parts of me that are still coming up, that probably still need a lot of healing, parts of me that I need to send a lot of love to, you know. So yeah, it's just a good reminder.
Yeah. So the idea of all spaces and times, realities. So actually, here's something that keeps coming to my mind, a vision actually that I keep seeing as we're talking. And again, just you know, what meditation helps you with that mindfulness, because this vision is not very, it's not very like in my face. It's just something that I'm seeing. But what I am seeing is as the light body goes up, we can actually see it go. You can begin to envision it going through each of the dimensions from third all the way up to 12. And that's a great way of really bringing that light to each.
That's really a good exercise.
Yeah.
Like, start from the third, and like, you think about just, you know, because a lot of the trials we go through here that our third dimensional self puts us through, it's a lesson. You know, they're giving us lessons, we're learning, and there may be things we didn't like about ourselves at times, but when we've learned from that, we can now thank our third dimensional self for that lesson, and thank it for helping us grow, because that's what this level of schooling is all about, is trials and tribulations and stepping up. So thank that third dimensional self. Send love to it for helping you, get through these times. And then, move up to the fourth, move up to the fifth, and just go through each layer. And be a good exercise, or a good way to set the intent is just kind of working up those layers.
And sending the love, that point that you just brought up is so key, because if we, in this third dimensional self, there's so much density here that it is very easy for us to obviously not only forget about the middle dimensions, but also to get frustrated with that energy. And if we send frustration to the frustration, or we get anger
Yes.
at the frustration, that is only feeding it more. And we don't want to do that. So we want to break that cycle and be the loving people ourselves. So if we're continuing to judge something, and then we judge that we're judging something.
Yeah.
And I'll give you for instance here.
If I keep saying observe, just observe it.
Beautiful. Yes. It's so awesome to observe. And the amount of people, oh my gosh, I'll tell you here. I was at gosh, where was I at this past weekend? I was at Knoebels up in Pennsylvania.
Oh.
I was on one of those now those that of people that know me, I am like really scared of heights. But
Me too. It just came over me a couple of years ago. It's so weird.
It really is. But
Yeah.
I don't let it, like, I always face it. I never let it stop me. So I went on this ride, one of those rides that goes real high up and then just drops you.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going on there and I'm holding on so tightly. and I'm like, in my mind, I'm going, why did I get on this ride? But the importance and the power in activation is what this story is about. Because as we were going up, I got about 3/4 of the way up and we were way higher than the tree line. And I said to myself, or my higher self said to me, just observe. And no kidding, my fists were like this on the holding on to the thing around my shoulder. And
Yeah.
and I heard observe, and my whole body just went. So much peace came over me in a situation that would not be.
I wish I'd have thought of that the last time I was in the paratrooper and I was grabbing my young children and crying to get off. I wish I would have thought to just observe, or just to feel free and fly.
Yes.
I can't even do the paratrooper. I think it was like a police academy or something where one of those like flew off. I don't know. No.
Well, I'll tell you what, I the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't think that was me that thought it. Like, it was like maybe a download or something. I'm not really sure, but or communication, but either way came in, and the amount of pressure that left my body when I took that new mindset of observation, which that point you brought up, Brooke, is so, and that it is a technique that I have used many, many times throughout the years. And it is always one that I find does help so tremendously in just finding more peace in the moment,
Yeah, and that was actually something I was going to bring up, because now, even with my favorite thing to observe now is, I guess, what we would call depression, or our dark times, or our very low times. And actually, I've got myself to the point now where when I start getting very low and dark, I almost get a little excited. I can't wait to observe what they're trying to show me, or what they're trying to teach me, or what needs to be healed. It's like, so instead of dreading it now, I almost get excited about what they're going to show me. Oh, is he coming?
Yeah.
You need a minute, or just want to let it go?
No, he's there. He's ready.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about that too.
Don't ever apologize.
Sometimes they just come in so tensely so far. I mean, sometimes. Man, I just need to give it a second to. Oh. Enoch speaking, my children. Beautiful it is to be with you all once again, my friends, my children. There is peace to be gained from the observing mind. It is no longer necessary to hold on to grip the feelings of emotion that overcome the human body at times. It is with a greater sense of observation and love that can be gleaned from taking a new mindset to the understanding that these emotions are not here for our highest and greatest good. They are here to encourage growth, as stated by Brooke. And we are here to encourage you a better understanding of the importance of taking the observing mind to the emotions. It will allow for the mouth speech to be separated from the emotions, and thus the action shall be also separated as so indicated in the past. This is an important aspect to understand, for it is the emotion that drives so many of you. Granted, there are aspects of emotion, love, and motivation to be better that are important to grow with. But it is also important to understand that these moments in time that fear can overcome the body is not meant for your highest and greatest good. Yes, it meant for a lesson for your good, true. But the aspect and emotion of fear is not meant for you to hold on to it, to grippingly hold on to it, to not let go. This is where the mind can overcome the heart space, which we lie in. This is not for your highest and greatest good. The lesson, yes, is for your greatest good, but the idea and notion of you maintaining and holding on to the mind's fear is not one that is beneficial to you. And thus, we encourage you to let it go. When you hold on and grip too tightly, guys, I can see literally it is if like someone is on a roller coaster and they're holding on so tightly, like, oh my gosh, if I let go, I'm going to fall. And we tell you now, you will not fall, my children. When you begin to act in accordingly with your soul purpose light and be who you are meant to be, truly as light workers, as most of you are, you will and always are of the light and will find your way. It is in the peacefulness that can come from observing these emotions, these feelings, and knowing what is and is not of the light will help you tremendously in your future as you proceed. It is not something to hold on to as you move about this plane. You move about the intuitive mind. This is the guidance system that so graciously puts you in the path. It is not the gripping that keeps you, it is the gripping that keeps you from it. And this is what we should not do, my children. It is important and accurate to understand that the coping skills that will be discussed and the idea that these requests to be specific are helpful. Are they needed at all times? No, they are not. And we encourage you to simply ask yes. However, there is some additional energies that are brought when specific names, natures, emotions are addressed specifically. These ideas of being specific are helpful, yes, but not always needed. And we are grateful that you are allowing these conversations to be had with us at this moment, Christopher and Brooke. Please pay close attention to the request that you are issuing to the spirit above, for we are always here. Specifics do help, but are not always needed. We assert to you again, and we are always grateful for the listening ear that is attentive to these messages now and forever. We are grateful. Thank you. Enoch speaking. Thank you.
Well, that was just some awesome validation.
Yeah, it really was. And I'll tell you, like sometimes I do remember a lot, sometimes I don't, of what they're saying. And these are not my thoughts. These are not my words that are being spoken. And in fact, how I look at them is just like what you said, Brooke, that they are validating. So they're almost using our words during the channeling session to validate. But also I look at it as we're just getting downloads as we're going, like they're
Yeah.
coming through.
And it was funny because I was like, you know what? Maybe like the stuff I had, like maybe we'll go to it a different day. And then he was like, and the things that we talked, I was like, oh, I guess I'm still doing that then.
Ooh,
Okay.
no kidding. I did not know that, Brooke. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Because I was like, well, maybe I'll just, as right as I was saying that, and he's like, and the things that'll be discussed, I was like, okay, so we are doing that. Okay.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
But I'm glad, and that I kept saying I wanted to do one based on, because I feel like it's such a big PowerPoint right now that they keep bringing up, is the fear, because that is the battle right now. It's the love over fear,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, we said you can't be, so emotions do drive us. Sadness, anger, even sometimes we're rightfully angry, sometimes at an injustice or at so our emotions do guide us, but fear is an emotion that does not even belong with us. Like fear does not even, now we're not talking about, when you're a baby and, there's a fear of, falling off of something. Yes, those are our natural instincts. But when we're talking about fear, it's, the worry, the fear of, what's the future going to bring, what's going to happen this time, so it's a different kind, but that fear belongs nowhere in us.
Mm-hmm.
And the combatant for that is love. And the other thing is simply that if each person knew what stands behind them and above them and all around them,
Mm-hmm.
we would walk everywhere like we were the most popular kid in school.
Yep. Yes.
I think if people just knew that there really is nothing to be afraid of, nothing except for that snake that pops out in the grass. That's a little spooky, but but there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. That we are so surrounded by light that anything that's going to happen is going to happen, and there's no reason to have that emotion of fear behind it.
Absolutely. And what does fear look like in some of us? And guys, honestly, I don't even mean to continuously bring that word up, but it's just something that we want to overcome. And how do we overcome it? What does it look like? It can look like anything. It could be someone that reaches out to us that says, hey, I want to open up, but I am using that word. I don't want to use that word right now. They use that word, but I am scared of this, or someone that says, hey, I know I'm not meant to do what I'm doing. I know I'm meant to do something else, but I'm scared that I'm not going to make enough money, or I'm not going to do something else. Those are aspects of fear that we have to begin to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and on the more simple levels, just worry.
yeah.
Worry is fear, just like if my mom will worry over my finances, and I'm like, excuse me, don't put that juju out there. Like, if I'm not worried about it, there's nothing wrong with my fine. It's like,
Yeah.
the way we worry about our kids, the way we worry about, and it's like, if we trusted and if we knew what the plan was, and we don't know, but you wouldn't worry, because you would know, you'd have the faith that things will work out exactly as they're supposed to if we just stay in the moment.
Yeah. And what is love? Love is truth and trust.
Mm-hmm.
They continuously tell us that. So when we think about, okay, I'm not meant to do this work, but I am meant to, like, someone might be coming into this kind of realm, doing this kind of work. You think about it. What does love look like? Love looks like, all right, I might not be able to leave right now financially, but what can I do to start to do something that gets me moving in that direction? Okay. Like,
Yeah.
we're not saying quit your job tomorrow and all's going to be well. I mean, obviously you have to be smart about it, but what you can do is begin the movement in that direction.
Right.
Start working with above, to get the messages that you're meant. And trust me, based on experience, they will tell you when to go, when not to go. You will say it.
You know what's funny? Of all the things I've ever had fear or worry over, leaving a job has never been one of them. I used to like go to lunch and not go back to jobs. And I come home, my husband would be like, oh God, you did it again. It was almost like a thrill seeking thing for me to like just not go back in. I go out for a smoke break, not go back in. I'd be like, oh, there's my car. I'm gonna hop in there and go to the beach. That is one fear or worry that I think every other person has ever had except for myself.
That's awesome.
I will leave a job in a heartbeat, especially if I feel moved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, your soul's talking to you, and that's like great
Yeah.
stuff. But so many people are like stuck on this, this roller coaster, holding on so tight. Oh my gosh, if I let go, I'm gonna fall, and
Yeah.
you're not, because they are. It's like that "Wings Beneath My Wings" song, when you let go and you trust, and you're in.
I
You're
think another gift that the COVID has brought to us is, I think, and I've seen it in my own little world. I've seen it with a lot of people who thought I could never leave my job. I don't know what I'd do without my job. I wouldn't, that they actually ended up losing their jobs. And I'm watching so many people around me heading towards their passions. It was something that they never thought they could do, but because of this gift of this, it was like forced upon a lot of people. And I'm seeing a lot of people start some new beginnings right now. And it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah, that's a great point. And I'll tell you another thing is what I'm seeing. People reach out to me, and there's a family that I'm working with right now. I wasn't going to talk about this, but where there is this mass awakening and people are beginning to see things, and depending on how we address it. So like there's this family that reached out to me. They have a kid who is seeing things, right? And obviously he doesn't want to see some of this stuff, but what I keep telling them is we have to break this cycle of, because he keeps holding on to the fear aspect. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. And I'm like, dude, you don't have that option anymore. Like there's this huge awakening that's happening. And every time we act in accordance with fear, we feed it. So we're only giving energy to the one thing that we don't want to have energy. So we have to bring it back, and we have to break that cycle and start feeding the love and acting in accordance with love, which is truth and trust.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the thing that was popping up for me a couple of weeks ago, and you and I talked about it a little bit, was the thing with fear. The way to release it is not to ignore it, not to say go away, but it's to face it.
Yes.
And to look right at it.
Mm-hmm.
And to say, you don't have power over me. With the team I got backing me, with what I have standing behind me, with the light that I have in me, you don't stand a chance.
Yep.
You tell that thing that you are fearing that, so you have to face it, and then like the story that kept coming to my head when I was saying that was Daniel in the lion's den. It's that he had no fear. Mm-hmm. And they say that thing that you fear, when you face it, he wasn't afraid because of the faith he had. He knew he was taken care of by God, and he was not one shred of fear facing those lions because he had trust in his God, mm-hmm. And lions sat down and closed their mouths, so that was just one of as I was mowing the grass and I was going through this whole fear thing, that was a story that just popped in my head. And I was like, oh yeah, it goes right along with it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I just had, not just, about a year ago now, I had a woman come to me for a channeling session, and she got an amazing session. And in it, they kept telling her, you're not meant to do this work. Now, this lady was a scientist making 3-digit figure money, on a regular, yearly, annually. She actually ended up emailing me, I want to say the beginning of this year. So right before all the COVID stuff hit.
Uh-huh.
And she said, Chris, I knew, when I left, I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing the work that I was doing. And I finally decided to do it after the session. Not that it wasn't me, but it just coincidentally after that session and what they said to her. And she goes, I quit my job and I'm going on a sabbatical, and I'm going to do what I'm meant to do. And it's like, it's just so beautiful to see people feed that energy of love and trust, knowing that, you know what, it's time that I serve the purpose that I'm meant to do.
Yeah. I mean, so many things in this structure are set up to keep us in a fear state because, well, when we're afraid, we stay in line, you know?
True. So
And so
true.
that is where they've tried to, that's the only way you can control a person. That truly control a person is to keep them in a fear-based state.
Yep.
So once people aren't afraid, man, look out. We'll be soaring like eagles. We'll be flying. Hey, so you want me I'm going to hop right into this if you don't mind.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, only because, like I said, I was going to save it for another, but then he mentioned I was going to be talking about coping skills. So I guess I better do what he says.
I like it.
But so while we're talking about energy, our vibes, we hear people say all the time, like good vibes only, energy vibes, same thing, frequencies. So I was thinking about things that affect our vibes. So some of the things I'm going to talk about, some of them can be negative, but some of them can affect our vibes, good or bad. I think in no particular order that I wrote these down. One of them was taking things personal that others say can affect your vibes, and this would be a negative. Anytime somebody says something to us, it's usually a reflection of them, not us. People deflect on each other a lot, but that's something that can really affect our vibes. We're having a good day, somebody else may not be having a good day, and they throw something at you, energy level drops. Another thing that affects our vibes is energy. Affects our energy is our ego thoughts. Some of those thoughts that we tell ourselves, some of those thoughts that pop up in our head telling us we're not good enough, we're not this, we're not that. So one way I have to combat that is with self-talk.
Yep.
So when I get in here and it's like, oh, you could never do that, or you can, I'm like, yes, I can. Watch me. So that's I've nailed that one. I used to listen to that voice in my head so much, but that is something that I am on it now. I'm like, who are you talking to? This is love. This is light. Like, back up.
Can I say something?
Yes.
To add to what Brooke just said, I am statements are some of the most powerful statements you can ever say to yourself.
Yes.
And when you fill them with love, so I am confident, I am love, I am beautiful, I am safe, I am secure. You're going to just increase that positivity, that loving energy.
And like we said, I think you can even thank that ego, because there were times that those negative thoughts that were coming in actually moved me somewhere else or pushed me to do something. So sometimes those negative thoughts come in, you can go, you know what? I really did need that at one time, and I appreciate the times I did need you to keep me like knocked down, but like right now is not one of them.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen who are listening to this, like, that statement that she just made is profound. The thanking of even those low vibrational thoughts, huge in breaking that cycle. I mean, you could see that cycle breaking with that stuff. Awesome.
I wouldn't be as strong as I am now if I didn't have to battle that for most of my life. Like, I mean, that is what made me strong, to constantly have that darkness opposing me. That is why I'm a badass warrior now, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So another thing that really affects our energy, and I mean, it could be good or bad, things we watch, things we listen to. I used to love, when I was younger, anything gory or horror, or the worse it was, the better. And slowly but surely I came to where I can't even watch, like, my husband will watch some things on TV and I come out, I look at the screen, and I run back to the room because I know. But anything we watch, that we listen to, music, different frequencies, so these things can be good and bad. You can watch something inspirational, which can raise your energy, but be careful of what you are letting yourself watch and listen to.
I am literally hearing Enoch say thank you right now. I literally am hearing that.
Oh,
Enoch, thank you. That's what I'm hearing. Enoch. Thank you.
Awesome.
That I'm Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you, bro.
Awesome. So then I'm going to go a little bit further on that one. When my Reiki master, when she was training me, she told me a story about somebody who she was releasing like an entity from them, and this entity to her sat up and said no, that it wouldn't leave. And so my Reiki master's like, no, we're doing this. We're out of here now. And it said, you don't understand. She wants me here. Just by the things she watches and the things she listens to and the things she participates in, she wants me here. So that's why I said we have to be very careful about what we're choosing to listen to and watch, because that's letting them know that you're okay with some things that we shouldn't be okay with. So I think that was a pretty deep thing. When I know when she said that to me, I was like, wow, I never thought about it before.
Well, that's interesting, because I told you that about this kid that I'm working, this family that I'm working with right now. And it's so interesting because I kept saying that to myself, and I did not bring it up to them. I kept not saying it to myself, but it kept coming in like, there's something else. There's something more happening here that I didn't address. And I kept feeling like there's a negativity here that is more than just this child. It's not just the child that's happening.
Yeah.
You brought up a great point. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But so, like I said, as far as affecting our energy, the things we watch and listen to can be good things. We can watch something inspirational or educational, and when it comes to listening to things, there can be certain music that was put out that does not have good frequencies to it, or things that can mess with us. But there's plenty of things we can listen to that are set at wonderful frequencies, whether it's certain music that's out there, which, like I said, a lot of like we look at Mozart and Beethoven, a lot of those are actually at really good frequencies. I think Jimi Hendrix was one that had a lot of stuff at good frequencies. You can look that up and you'll see this whole list of like bands that you're like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought about that. On top of that, you can listen to binaural beats. You can listen to other frequencies that raise your vibrations. And let me tell you, it works. I accidentally one night listened to, so going to bed, you want to be more in the delta, beta.
Yeah.
Is that the lowers?
Yeah. These are the brain waves. Yeah.
So when I first got into it, I accidentally listened to something in the, what's the more upbeat frequencies?
Delta. I want maybe
or
not.
maybe alpha, gamma.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe up in the alpha and the gamma. So I didn't know what I was doing. Listen to that before I went to bed. I actually did sleep, but that next morning I was on fire, like with positivity.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I'm yelling at the Dunkin' Donuts workers, like how great of job they always do. And this line, they keep us moving. I get into work. I was just like, I was looking for people to hug because I had so much positive vibes. I was like, I couldn't even handle it all myself. I had to like spread it out. But I was like, that was like my confirmation for those frequencies and the higher. But so what we listen to, what we watch can affect us good or bad, whichever way you choose. Another thing that affects our energy is people we spend time with. That's not always a choice though. We have to go to work. We have to go to the store. Sometimes we have to go to little cousin so-and-so's party, so we can't always. So when we can choose who we can be around, that's one thing, or we can kind of get ready for that.
So maybe you don't have to go to little cousin's thing.
Right. Hey, I have on numerous occasions, because a certain way I was feeling, I have canceled plans. Totally. However, there's other times that everything in me wanted to even call out of work. Everything in me was like, I can't do this today. I can't. But then I would make myself go in and I would make myself go through it. And it would end up, I was really glad that I did. Because if I stayed home, I would have kept myself in the low vibration I was in. And by actually forcing myself to go out, I actually had a better time than I thought. So pick and choose on that one, but there's times that we have to go to work. So there are things, so I'm going to talk about some coping skills, but there are little things you can do, when you know how your day's going to go, you can mentally prepare. You can go, well, I already know I'm going to go in and, see this person that always has something, negative to say, or I know I'm going to go past this situation. But when you just get yourself like mentally prepared and aware, and you already know what you're running into, you can keep your energy up, and you can, get yourself there. A big one, and this is right now, I think we're all going through this, I guess, whether you have kids or not, but it's like back to school time. So not being present, because we talk about being mindful, we talk about being present. And when you are present, everything just seems to really flow. But there are times in our lives where it's just impossible. It's impossible to stay present when we're looking at, things we have to get done for school or things we have to get done for work. And, sometimes it's really hard. And so to always try your best to stay present, because sometimes I know I am most out of whack, and that's the easiest fix is I go, well, I'm not being present right now. And when I find a way to make myself present, it's like, oh, okay, oh, that wasn't so bad. So not being present can affect our energy negatively. Being present can affect your energy amazingly, being present. And the one thing I did not have on there yesterday that I was like, duh, when I was skimming the pool, when I get my most brilliant ideas, is the other thing that affects our energy. When we can't pinpoint it, we can't say, oh, it's this or oh, it's that. When we can't pinpoint what it is, there's a really good chance that it is an unhealed part of us coming up, or a repressed trauma coming up. So sometimes when you can't identify, like, why am I feeling so low today? Why am I feeling like this today? And there's no reason you can really find. It can be something inside that is being shown to you at that time. So look for that unhealed emotion that may be coming up, because we all have them. They're in there, and we get to push them down for a little bit and have a good time and rock through this life. But if it's not healed, they're going to keep showing it to us until we're ready to meet that and ready to go do the work to heal it.
And that's where the spaces and times and realities and layers are important to ask for, the specifics on, that particular healing, and in those different locations and times, are helpful.
Yeah. And so you hear a lot of people now talking about doing their shadow work, and that's what they're doing. They're going into themselves and shining a light on that darkness that's in them, and they're working on that. They're working on healing that aspect. So there's a term out there called shadow work, and that's what this has a lot to do with. So I think that is one of the biggies. Like when you just can't pinpoint, it has nothing to do with circumstances, and you're having a low vibe, it could just simply be that you're being shown it's a time for you to observe, what are we going through right now. And then, there's other times where we just need a break. It's time for us to stay still. So there's times that we're in a lower vibe, but that it's okay. It's that our batteries are being charged. Like I always say, I charge my batteries. So sometimes we don't have to get super upset with ourselves and go, oh my gosh, why am I like this? Why am I tired? Why am I cranky? Sometimes it's just time for a break. And sometimes we just have to be. And I've been told time and time again that sometimes in those times, it's when the higher aspects of ourselves are really kicking ass in other realms. So like I said, I gave my higher self the name of Imogen. And so sometimes when I'm, very low key and I can't put my finger on it, and I'm searching, I'm like, okay, what needs to be healed? And I'm trying to dig for those parts that I need to heal in myself. And sometimes I'm just not finding it. And I go, Imogen's up there kicking butt right now, and I'm just here anchoring the light for her. So the best thing I can do is just be still and, just be here and sail along as smoothly as possible until that energy comes back and she taps out and it's my turn to do the work here. So I have those little funny ways I look at it. And I don't know, maybe that's just a coping skill, but that thought works for me. So now I'm going to talk about how to raise or protect our energies. Being aware. That's just key right there, is just to be aware of why we feel certain ways or what it is that could be affecting us. Because sometimes I know, like, especially kids don't know, You know, kids are having a bad day, they're throwing stuff around. I mean, they're not aware yet. They don't have coping skills in place to understand the way energy affects them, you know, like we do. So just being aware is key. Mindful and present, we've talked about that. The best way to, I think that's key to raising vibes is to be present. And we've talked a lot about mindfulness in previous podcasts. Finding self-love, positive talk. We've already talked about that. When our ego comes in and says things, send it love. The I ams, speak positive to yourself. The other huge one, and I didn't even have this right away, was gratitude. You know, when you're feeling low and your energy needs to raise up, gratitude. Think of all of those things to be grateful for. Like, yeah, we might be in a bad mood because we weren't ready for this presentation at work, but we'll get through it. But think of all the things that you are grateful for. That the fact that you have a job to go to, the fact that you woke up in the morning, the fact that you have food on your table, anything that you can possibly be grateful for. Think of all of those. Keep a journal. They're great. Gratitude is a great one. Creating something when we're in low vibes or energy is low. Create. I love to sing. My thing is getting in the car and singing. Cook something, bake something. I know my mom's not a big cook, and when she was going through her depression, I'd be like, oh, Mom, like, I'm really hungry. I really need you to make me some soup, you know, because I know that she likes to go out. That's one thing she does like to make. And sure enough, she would get present because she would get all into her soup making that she would forget about, you know, what it was that was keeping her down. Draw, paint, write, dance, clean. Hey, some of us, I mean, I know we don't like to clean, but some of us, that's always been my thing. I feel, do I want to clean? No. But while I'm cleaning, I'm actually starting to feel better. And I try to do it mindfully, and I try to slow myself down and think while I do it. And of course, if you look back, you see a clean spot, you automatically just feel better. Rearrange. So the way energy flows in your house. You've heard of feng shui. And feng shui gets very tricky when you look into all of it. Some things really make sense, though, when you look into it. But you don't have to go by that. If you feel like this chair there needs to go over there now, sometimes you just kind of, it kind of comes to you how to make that room for energy in your house. So let the energy flow a different way. I always feel better after rearranging. Wear something funky. Do your hair funky. When my vibes are low, I love my knots. I don't know why, but when I do my knots, I feel cool. Like I feel but like even guys, you guys can like, hey, flip it to the other side, spike the front up, you know, just do some, you know, a little extra gel on the eyebrows there. Little things like that, put a little pep in your step, you know what I'm saying? Do some different facial hair, you know, Fu Manchu, you know, try something different. But those just fun little funny gimmicks that can change your mood completely around. You know, girls, we have makeup, you know, we can I know guys will always tell us, especially our loved ones, that, oh, you don't need makeup, honey, you're so beautiful. Guys, we don't wear it for you. We wear it for us, and we wear it for other girls. No, but makeup is something girls have that makes them kind of immediately feel better, like more fresh, more awake, peps us up a little bit. Pick a color to wear. Like I'm not a pink person. I don't go out and look for pink clothes, but like yesterday when I thought we were doing the podcast, I have a pink shirt and I put it on and I realized that I like that color made me happy, you know? So sometimes just like colors that we wear can increase our mood and our vibes for the day. Hey, especially if you're looking into the 7 rays of light and you're looking for a specific part of your healing, wear the color that goes along with that. Aha. Yes. Very nice.
It is.
Let's see. I found myself the other day in a very low vibe. My daughter was actually trying to do something very precious for a friend. And her friend was upset. And so Leah wanted to bring her some Dunkin' Donuts. And the night before, I thought it was a fabulous idea. Well, that morning, I'd gotten into some stuff and I was trying to get things done around here. And so when she rolls out of bed and she's ready to get going, well, I kind of threw an attitude. I was just like, oh, of course, you're going to wake up and it's time to go. And blah, blah, blah. And I start yelling at her. And this moment that should have been so beautiful for her, she was trying to do something great for a friend. And like my vibe came in and I mean, I almost ruined it. But I didn't, because I caught myself and I made a lesson out of it. And I finally calmed myself down and I said to her, I'm very sorry. Like, there's no need for me to be acting like this. What you're doing right now is so great and so wonderful. And basically, I was being a brat because it wasn't fitting into my time and it wasn't fitting into my agenda. And so I think anytime that we start off on the wrong foot, and we throw a bad vibe or we're triggered, I think the best thing we can do for the other person that we're with is to stop and then kind of explain ourselves, and turn it into a lesson and turn that vibe completely around. And so yeah, once I explained to myself and made my apology and I was like, no, this is a really great thing we're doing right now. I put myself in the moment, because I was pulled out of my moment earlier, which that's usually a trigger for all of us when we're in a moment and we get pulled out of that moment. So, but I got myself right back into the moment. I turned the music up, we went and got our coffee and it was just beautiful because this little girl was so excited. We made her day. It was so worth it. And I think, oh my gosh, if I stayed the way I had stayed, and I could have ruined that for everybody, So I'm glad that I was aware of myself enough to pull myself out of my funk and to get back into the beautiful moment we were going into. So yeah, I always say talking and explaining yourself really helps. And when I was writing these things down, I totally went out of my head and I was talking to my friend Genevieve, and she was like, the elements, Brooke, the elements. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, spend time with the elements in any way possible. So we have the 5 elements of earth, and that would be earth, water, fire, air, and space. Water. Kids at school, I'll have them even as simple as going in the bathroom and splashing water on their face. So water, whether it's summertime and you do have a pool, or sometimes just a shower can change your vibe. If you're just kind of feeling yuck, you get in that water and you think a little bit and clear yourself off. Drinking water, your vibes are low, not feeling the energy, take a break and chug yourself a glass of water. So what are the other elements? Of course, earth. Go outside, be in nature, look around, sit on the ground, take your shoes off, observe some things out there. But the commonality between all of this is basically mindfulness. All of these things that we're talking about, ultimately, they're just pulling you into that very moment. So mindfulness is the key. Fire, light a candle. That always works for me. Like, I love just, if I'm in a certain mood, light a candle. Incense, that I change the whole energy in my house with that, because I light my incense and I frolic through the house like a fairy, waving it around to all the kids. So that right there already just changes the energy of the whole house just by being silly. Let's see, other main things. Okay, and the last, I've rambled enough. I think everybody gets the point of some of these coping skills. But the last one I wanted to touch on, because you talk about the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space. But then they talk about the 7 elements, and that includes, so it's earth, nature, water, fire, darkness, and spirit. So darkness is the one that when I wrote that down, I was like, easy. We've already talked about it. Sometimes we have to go into our darkness and figure out what's going on, and then help shed some light on that. So I think that is a big one. And spirit, like we've already said, they are here for us. They've given us so many tools and so many ways to call on them and to ask for help, and that's why they're here to help us. That is their sole purpose. That is why they're here, to help us. So always call the spirit. I know I had like more, but I feel like we've already said so much, and I feel like it's all pretty clear. I think I probably had like 20 other coping skills, but I feel like we can do something else with that another time.
Yeah, totally. If I could say one though, if I could just
Yeah.
take a break. Sometimes we overwork ourselves. So don't if you feel like you could use a break, don't hesitate to take one. So I appreciate you letting me say that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and just like I said, sometimes we do have to just come to the point that it may just be we're recharging.
Yep.
I know that we think if we're not walking around like a bubbly ray of sunshine, then somehow we must be failing in our faith or failing in our belief system, or we must not be doing enough to raise our vibes. It's not true. Sometimes we just need to relax, and sometimes we just need that break. We need that recharge of our batteries. So don't look too deeply into it. Like, look enough to give yourself some checks when your vibes are low. Like, do I have anything unhealed coming up? Do I have anything, like, what have I been watching? What have I been do a little checklist. But when there's nothing else, just simply relax. Just relax and just be and go with the flow until that energy comes back, because it always comes back. It always comes back. The energy will always be there. It
Totally.
is abundant, but sometimes it's leaves us for a reason, that we need to be quiet for a little while.
Mhm.
So,
Well,
but yeah, so we wanted to make this quick, and I'm sure it wasn't. And I'm good to go when you're good to go.
I am. Yeah. So, well, thank you for that. That was awesome. Appreciate it as always. And thank all of you guys for listening. We appreciate you immensely. Love you all for sure. Don't hesitate to reach out to us via the website, Facebook, opentoenergy.com, and then that'll take you to uh, YouTube and all the other places we are. But anyway, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I know Chris has put it out there before. If you guys ever have any suggestions for us or something you would like to hear us talk about, please reach out and let us know. I mean, we are open. We are open. Anything you guys want to hear about, and we can see what we've got to pull out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Bye.